The night before, I had her pack her bag with her favorite toys.
They were pulling bodies out of houses.
The thing we have to do is make sure that we give children a sense of safety.
I would love to save everybody, but I can't even save my own family.
How did the storm make you feel, Marley?
Angry.
Angry? Why did it make you angry?
Because I don't like heavy storms.
We knew it was going to be one of the biggest storms ever to hit the area.
There's no understanding for them to rely on to understand a storm of this magnitude. Even just a hurricane in itself, a smaller one, and you couldn't prepare a child for it.
My daughter is definitely suffering some PTSD. She was diagnosed with anxiety since the storm. And my son went through a really bad time of depression after the storm.
Certain things would feel different to her. She stopped wearing socks. Her clothes, we had to tear tags off the back of her clothes. It has escalated since then. It's gotten worse. Even 5 months after the storm, we're still living in destruction. And he sees it every day. He does have depression and things from it.
For kids, in some cases, it turns out to be the adventure. But then you start seeing the losses, homes that are destroyed, families that are displaced, they have nowhere to live. The lack of routine, and oftentimes the parents, the stress they're going through and trying to just begin recovery.
They don't fight around me a little all the time, but sometimes they do fight. Like, they fought really bad during the hurricane, or after it.
It's been a real strain on our relationship. I hate to see my children hurt in any way. I want her to be, a great positive child that, has no issues.
There's always a battle to fight every day. It's nothing simple anymore, especially immediately after the storm.
Look at me.
They were pulling bodies out of houses after the hurricane. That could have been us.
I refused to sleep. I couldn't sleep. If I fell asleep, I might wake up dead. It just scarred me for life. A few weeks ago it started raining and it just reminded me of Hurricane Michael. And then I just felt scared because I thought the house was gonna fall in. It feels like a dream. Cause every night I would usually dream of it being normal, and then when I wake up, I'm going, oh, is it on? And then, especially after the day after the hurricane. I had a dream about that, and then I just saw all this destruction, and then I keep wanting to believe to myself that it's fake, it's fake, it's fake, it's a dream. I'm stuck in a nightmare.
Children, you know, their reality is a little different from adults. This traumatic experience definitely made them feel that authority and order were shut down, destroyed. The number one thing I've seen over and over is sleep disturbance. And that's very typical with post-traumatic stress disorder.
She got really aggressive, just really mean, wouldn't listen, would like kind of pull on her baby sister and things like that. I wouldn't say she was trying to be vicious, but she has no self-control now. That was the first sign. The second thing that showed up is she became afraid of cracks. The weirdest thing ever. We were at a doctor's office and the chair was split, the vinyl chair was split. She wouldn't sit in the chair. Then that evolved to wrinkles. We went swimming and she got, you know, pruny hands, cracks in her hands. She lost it. We pretty much wear Disney princess dresses or dresses with a tulle skirt on them, and then she has to have a tiara on. And that's pretty much all I can get her in every single day.
Why do you wear your princess crown all the time?
Because I want to be a princess.
Because you love to be a princess? Does it make you feel happy now?
Yeah.
Does it make you feel safe?
Yeah.
She seems to can't get dry enough when she goes to the bathroom. It takes us sometimes 10-15 minutes just to get her wiped to the point where she can put her clothes back on. It has escalated since then.
When she used to use the potty, she would put her clothes back on. Now she has to go naked throughout the house and run around and touch everything and bother me mostly. She'll bang on my door for like 30 minutes straight. I'm more distant.
The storm took that security away from him because it wasn't like that before, you know. He knew he was loved and he knew he was bright and he was confident, and now he's not. I believe the storm took that away.
They were pulling bodies out of houses after the hurricane. That could have been us.
I was reading his text messages and he had begun to talk about self-harm, about pricking himself with a needle, which, he wasn't cutting his wrist or anything, but that's major to me. And that's a red flag for me.
We see a lot of behaviors change, and the ones that are most concerning are the ones that tend to be abusive both to yourself, and this is everything from increased drug use, alcohol use, cutting.
I hear stories every day and it makes me cry. I would love to save everybody, but I can't even save my own family. I can't lose my children, and I can't leave my children without a parent. It was the scariest thing to put a family through. I thought I was going to lose my family, and that's the worst thing you can ever think and have to deal with and face, is the thought of losing your children.
It just felt like we were all gonna die, and I don't really remember all of it. It was just like my family dying and like me not knowing what to do, and it was just kind of like it was just me alone, and like I didn't know what to do.
When the roof came off, water started pouring in, and all I could think was that we're not gonna make it, especially the baby since he was so little. And all I could think was that whatever I could grab when the time came, that I needed to grab and hold on to the baby as tight as I could. I didn't know when we left if my son had made it or not. And so that was tough. No, that was the toughest thing, is that Wyatt was with his dad when the storm happened, my oldest. And I actually didn't hear from him until the storm happened on October 10th. I didn't hear from him until the night of October 11th because communications were down. Wyatt kept saying, "Mommy, are you there? Mommy, Mommy," like, you know, kids are so resilient, and he was so kind of oblivious to why I was upset. And he's like, "Mom, it's okay, I'm here. I'm on the phone," and I just I couldn't breathe.
Very emotional. I stay very stressed, very sad, very depressed, anxious. I definitely have a lot of anxiety. I get upset very easily. My marriage is probably a little rocky because we fight a lot more. There's always a battle to fight every day. You know, it's nothing simple anymore.
They don't fight around me a little all the time, but sometimes they do fight. Like, they fought really bad during the hurricane, or after it. And they have also started smoking, which my dad had just got off that before the hurricane, and he relapsed. And my mom started, so.
Through a lot of arguments lately. We're living with my family now. So that's more people into a household. We're still trying to get things repaired. So yeah, it's been a real strain on our relationship.
I don't want to fight with my mom because like we've already been through so much, and like we've got here, like we're just a really happy family now. We went through like a really rough time, so I just like think about that, like, I don't know, I feel bad.
My mom mainly, she's usually an angry person, but now she's a lot angrier. Like, she gets ticked off very easily. And my sister's kind of skittish, I guess, now.
We're not okay. You know, so many of our community are still homeless. They're closing down schools every day. It's not right, it's not okay. I am so angry about it. Our children have already been through so much. It's just very depressing. I hear stories every day and it makes me cry. I would love to save everybody, but I can't even save my own family right now.
We lost all of our like family pictures, and that was really sad because like there was just like a bunch of kid photos and like videos of me.
Can't escape it, and when you go out of the city limits and you get away from it, you actually see trees again. You know, it makes you happy, but then you come back and you reprocess all again. I'm trying to get unstuck.
It's hard to say when you've gone through a major disaster that there's ever this return to a previous normal.
sometimes makes me want to cry when I see it. But I'll be trying my best, still like be a man and just like take it and say like no matter what I do, it's never gonna come back normal.
When I don't go for school for a long time, I get really bad headaches. I have to have routine.
He missed school a lot. We were out of school for so long, and having that routine really messed with him.
Support groups could be a really great resource for children who either, live in the same area and they've experienced a hurricane. Even preventatively, preparing students as much as possible when we know a storm is coming by, providing them with resources and letting students talk about, their fears.
All my friends, they left. Now I have maybe 50 friends, now 10 that's still here.
One of the things we found that's been very effective for children is allow them to tell their stories to each other. And what's really interesting is children begin sharing between themselves. They start realizing, oh, I'm not the only one having this issue. I'm not the only one that's having trouble sleeping.
I think it's really important, especially for children, to open up the lines of communication, to allow a child to feel safe, and to encourage them to talk about what they're thinking and what they're feeling.
He would be very explosive towards me and very distant, and that's not him. He's a good kid.
The most important thing a parent can do for their child if they know that a hurricane is coming and they know that it's coming to where you are is to evacuate.
It's scary, and whoever you do evacuate if another hurricane comes. Because if you stay, you might just die.
So we've got to be prepared to evacuate. We've got to take our neighbors with us, and we must have that 4 to 5 days of supply of food and water. Because the hurricane comes, it's going to turn the lights out. So you got to be able to survive. And what we tell people is, be prepared to be your own first responder and take care of your neighbor.
We've overcome so much already, and I just want them to know that no matter how hard that it gets, that you can make it through anything. There's a chance for a new beginning. It's going to be a new way of life.
The night before, I had her pack her bag with her favorite toys.
They were pulling bodies out of houses.
The thing we have to do is make sure that we give children a sense of safety.
I would love to save everybody, but I can't even save my own family.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I am Harrison Hove, and this is the Invisible Aftermath Town Hall. The Invisible Aftermath series was created by a team of journalists at WUFT, the PBS affiliate in Gainesville, Florida. The series walked through Hurricane Michael aftermath to detail an important aspect of disaster recovery that we don't often talk about, and that is hurricanes' impact on mental health. Tonight we've brought a panel together to discuss this important issue, and I'd like to introduce them to you right now. Sitting on our panel tonight are our four guests. We've got Hazley Pittman. Hazley is one of the WUFT journalists who participated in creating the Invisible Aftermath digital series. We have Mr. Craig Fugate. He's the former director of FEMA. As we continue to have this conversation in the Invisible Aftermath Town Hall, please weigh in. If you're watching, go ahead and ask questions. We're here to interact with you and fuel some interactivity around this really important topic that combines Mother Nature and mental health and well-being.
Another thing that we have learned is that after any sort of natural disaster or man-made disaster, children need to talk to people who children know. So having some national expert come into schools and talk to children, it's not going to be that helpful, because we tell children, don't talk to strangers. So if there is anything that we can do to empower and inform the adults who already are involved in a child's life, that would be a lot more positively impactful.
As we talk about solutions, you might be thinking, what can you do to help? So at the bottom of your screen, you might notice that you can volunteer, you can donate. There is still such a tremendous need. 1 year later in the Panhandle, you can go to rebuild850.org for great resources on how you can pitch in to help Floridians recover from that Category 5 storm 1 year ago.
It's very eye-opening. I think you go in and you have this idea of what it's going to be like in your own mind, and you see these pictures, but then when you get there firsthand, and you're actually seeing what these people are trying to live through or what they had to evacuate from, it's just unreal to see, and you want to help these people. And as a journalist, at first, you are taken back as to what I can do. But I think the best thing that we can do, and what we've tried to do with this series personally and as a group of journalists, is just to continue that discussion and create that dialogue, because people sometimes can forget a year later that they're still living through this. These people are there. They need homes. They need work. They need school. And just by creating that awareness and highlighting this issue and getting volunteers and creating donations and keeping that going, even though we have been 12 months out, is the best thing that I think we can continue to do.